listen, I know Xbox gets a lot of hate, and I know that I can also be part of that sometimes. It's not something like super intentional or anything like that. When they do stuff, of course, like Xbox, I'm honest about it. It's my favorite platform. So when they mess up, when they screw up, when they do something that I get disappointed in, I'm very loud about it. I have a lot of money invested with, the company. And so with that being said, it kind of upsets me when, they do something stupid. But listen, I'm also going to stick up for it where I think it deserves it. And this is an instance where I do think they kind of deserve, being stuck up for a bit, and I'm hopeful that, you guys agree with me, whatever the case may be. And, again, it's hard to kind of deny my logic here. So we'll see what you guys think. What's up, everybody? I'm Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I certainly do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out my channel. It means a lot to me when you guys do like the videos and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. Believe it or not, it just honestly makes my day. So I do daily gaming content if you guys are interested in it. I try to be fun yet informative. So with that kind of in mind, it's really important that you guys do rock out with me and do, subscribe and stuff. So again, a lot of people look at Game Pass as something that, has been a bit of a negative. I think of it more of as a additive thing, right? As like this kind of bonus thing. Like, okay, well, you can get Game Pass in addition to buying games, and that's the way I kind of look at it. I like to buy and own my games, but a lot of people kind of have done the worst thing in my opinion, which is they use Game Pass and only Game Pass, and they don't buy their stuff or whatever. Again, and that's I guess that's okay, but that kind of creates a problem for a lot of games, because there's Game Pass gets so large and you can't find your games or whatever. But a lot of people also think quality takes a hit, and I'm not really sure that's an issue. When it comes to stuff like Halo, I think that was just poor management, because when you look at like the Forza Horizon series, that's always been quality, and that's in Game Pass. So the stuff that they're putting in Game Pass, especially lately, like Indiana Jones, great. I think Avowed is really good. And speaking of Avowed, that's a game that, like, in my opinion, the stuff that Obsidian's doing is very much a quality thing, and that's because they were bought up by Microsoft. Same thing that kind of with, some of the other studios that they bought, like Psychonauts 2 was better because Microsoft bought Double Fine, and we've kind of seen that, like, this is how things kind of have grown. Like, even with Clockwork Revolution, that studio was doing like top-down games and stuff, and that stuff top-down doesn't impress me or get me excited. But what they're doing with Clockwork Revolution, a full-on 3D, kind of experience with, an RPG, that's great. Like, that shows that, what they're doing is something that's impressive now. And here's something that we've seen as well. So Avowed, the developer Obsidian Entertainment, has grown a lot since Microsoft bought them. Obsidian Entertainment used to have about 170 employees. Since its acquisition, it's grown to 285 plus strong. So again, it just goes to show that, not everything is doom and gloom, and, regardless of what people might think about, Xbox, not everything is as cut and dry as people try to make it out to be. Like, oh, everything's bad or everything's bad. Like, a lot of these studios are getting bigger and better under the Microsoft branding. Now, sure, like, if I want to nitpick, I wish that, that they would have make Obsidian games exclusive. Outer Worlds 2, that should be exclusive, all that kind of stuff. But, we'll see. Obsidian Entertainment, the studio behind recently released RPG Avowed, has revealed that it's grown quite a bit since being bought under the Xbox Game Studios umbrella. During a recent podcast, the CEO revealed that the company had about 170 employees before being bought out by Microsoft, and revealed that since the acquisition, Obsidian has grown to be around 285 strong. He also spoke about having great development partners to support studios like Beamdog and Heavy Iron. He says, quote, "When we came on with Xbox Game Studios and Xbox, we were around 170, 180 people in 2018. And through the course of the last 4 or 5, 6 years, we've not only grown the studio to 285 people, but we also have a lot of really good co-op dev partners with Heavy Iron and Beamdog. The interview, which obviously I'm going to link in the description and this article as well, revolved around a host of different subjects, including Obsidian's games like Avowed, their co-op survival game Grounded, and The Outer Worlds. During the interview, they were asked if Obsidian would work on a new Fallout game down the line, and he said, "Fallout is near and dear to my heart." He said, "I'm an 80s kid, I'm a Gen X, so the whole thing makes sense. If their opportunity ever arose for us to make one, we'd love to make one, but we also have a lot of other things we like." So interestingly enough, the lead writer behind Fallout New Vegas recently returned to Obsidian Entertainment as a creative director after having originally left the company all the way back in 2011. In the interim, he's worked on a number of high-profile titles, including Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor as lead narrative designer, and Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West as narrative director. Obsidian Entertainment's latest release was Avowed, which came out recently. The game has proven to be a pretty good success, according to them anyway. I'm enjoying it. I haven't beat it or anything yet, but according to their game director, it's been a pretty big success for them. In a recent conversation, they were talking about how, when you think about this, the game was rebooted in 2021 and really was ready to come out in 2024, so 3 years time. He says, "I feel like we've learned so much over the past 4 years that I wish I'd known at the start of the process. It's definitely been a job where the highs are really high and the lows are really low. Normally, if you're stepping back and reevaluating your creative direction, putting together a new vertical slice and revised production plans, you would do that with a very small team. We did not have a very small team at that point. A lot of lessons we learned as we were building Avowed. Ideally, we would have learned a lot on a small scale with a true pre-production. One of the biggest changes brought on by the reboot was downsizing from the Skyrim-like open world to something more akin to the studio's previous productions." And he said, "With any game, you think, okay, we can't climb every mountain. Which ones are really worth the effort? We knew from the Outer Worlds that we could build a really great game with open zones and also add some advantages in terms of letting you really theme your areas more distinctly and intentionally and provide a sense of progression as the players go on from one environment to the next." So again, I have to say, I like Avowed. It's a quality game. I can understand, I think it's sitting at an 80 Metacritic right now, and I get that. I can understand it. I mean, maybe it'll go up or down for me by the time I get around to finishing it, but there's little instances I can see why some people complain about it. I can see why people love it. It's more of a throwback game to me than anything. It's really kind of a game that reminds me of an Xbox 360 game in the best possible way, right? Honestly, it just is really, really fun to play. They kept it pretty simple. I think that's also something that I kind of put in there as makes it sort of like an Xbox 360 kind of experience. The way that they kind of handled that, I enjoy that. It's not a game that's, from what I could tell, is going to be terribly long, which I also can appreciate. In this day and age, I really don't have time to sit around and do a game that's going to last hundreds of hours anymore. But at the same time, you can appreciate what's there. Now, I understand they probably, because to get this game out and for it to come out in the time that they did, all that kind of stuff, I feel like they did, cut a few corners or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's still a really, really good game. And, they're saying that they're happy with how it sold. It's moved up the charts decently on the Xbox Most Played list. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I think that Xbox has really done a good job of making sure that, RPGs have a good home on Xbox. And, again, that really is something that Microsoft has kind of changed over the years. Because if you think about it, Xbox used to be known as kind of a dude bro shooter type of game, and again, we're really starting to get an idea of what Microsoft is all about, and that's fantastic in my opinion. Change people's perceptions, get people excited about different things. It's not just a dude bro shooter box anymore. It's also a platform that offers great RPGs, and that's awesome in and of itself. So what are you guys excited about? You guys want to see more Avowed? The director of the game says, yeah, they definitely want to do more. I like the fact that Obsidian's been able to get out quite a few nice games, you know, over the years, and I look forward to seeing what else they could do. It looks like, you know, these Xbox games are finally hitting, you know, where they should, and that's an exciting prospect. So with that, let me say I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.